Yeah, baby!
Hey, VC here. So we're going to break down the doubleheader of the BWR weekend. So on Saturday, the Waffle. That's the big one, 135 miles, 10,000 feet of climbing, 40% dirt. And then on Sunday is actually the smaller one, the Wafer, which is only 76 miles. Same exact course. There's just a section that's cut out. So then I'm going to do both of them. 2 days of racing, total time, places you overall. So let's break down the bike. It's my favorite bike to ride, the Canyon Ultimate that I have made into basically a gravel bike. Now, the wheels that I'm running are the Cadex 36s, ultra stiff, ultra light, bladed spokes, carbon spokes, ceramic bearings in the hubs. They're amazing. I'm also running my rotor oval ring with a 52-52. A 52-52. The rear cassette is a 52. The front is a 52. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Amazing. I've got my Arundel cages, not going to lose bottles this time. Here's the Cadex wheels paired with the IRC Boken Plus. So it has like a flat section in the middle with some knobbies on the side. Now they were 32s, but on the Cadex wheels, the hookless bead wheels, these actually blew them out to 34.5, which was to me the perfect setup. So a really wide tire on this pretty much road bike. Got some sick bar tape, got my bar bag, I'm ready to race. All right, so now we're gonna start with day one. It's a big day, lots of hitters here. Now I do have the power overlay for a little bit of the race. It's really hard to sync up power across an 8-hour day. So I'm just gonna show you kind of when it really counts, which is that now look, normally, BWR has been over 2 days. It's the Waffle and Wafer usually ran on the same day, but that puts too many people on the course at one time. So they broke it up into the Waffle on Saturday and the Wafer on Sunday. Now they also changed the course and they started right into a pretty good sized climb. This isn't the climb yet. This is just getting to the climb. But what was so amazing is that this really thinned out the field, right? It puts you in your group before the race really even started. But also that you could blow yourself up really quickly. I mean, we are 1 minute into this race and we are just absolutely sending it. Now, there was a little section that went downhill, so you kind of could recover. You could bring your heart rate down. But then it went straight into this about 10-minute climb. A good part of it, maybe 7 minutes, was on road. And then you entered the first dirt section. Now, last year and in years prior, it was an absolute shit show getting to the first gravel section. I mean, just a crapshoot. Last year, I came into the first gravel section 250th place. So I was a huge fan of having the course this way, where you started on a climb, thinned it out. You kind of found your group right away, you know, but it's a long race. It's like 7-8 hours if you're racing it. And so I set sort of a limit to myself, like, okay, hold 350 watts average for about 10 minutes. And that was not enough. I mean, the guys were just absolutely sending it. And so I ended up doing closer to 400 watts for 10 minutes, which was way over what I wanted to, but the front group, gone. So 192 beats per minute, and we are maybe 15 minutes into the race, and we hit the first gravel section, but I'm pretty far up at this point, maybe top 100-ish, and so it's not very crowded, which was a good thing. This first dirt section was so much fun, and it was really fast, really sort of had like a top layer of gravel, so it was kind of slippery in the turns, but already you can see guys having issues. And that was, for a lot of people, you know, their day is done just so quick because, you know, getting a flat or having a mechanical. Now my tire setup, my bike setup, I'm so confident in it. Brian McCauley here, he to the right, very interesting guy. I've raced with him a few times now, and every time I blow by him on a climb thinking I'm great, and then later in the race he comes by like a freaking freight train and then ends up getting top 20 somehow. It's wild. It's wild, his power profile and how confident he is and how patient he is. Now, my profile is a little bit more of like a puncher. So, you know, 4 to 8 minute power, that is my best or my strongest suit. And so these type of things, like I feel good doing this. I feel good going hard on some of these steep things for that short period of time. It's a little bit harder for me to just hold really high power for a long time. So right here, I'm trying to hopefully use my skill set and get as far up front as possible so that when we get into the road section, I'm with a good group. So I'm trying to get ahead as far as I can, you know, catch as many guys as I can. Hopefully I can grab onto, you know, the second group on the road, maybe the third group on the road. We get through the first gravel section and we jump down onto a really fast descent. And if we're on a descent, what do? Well, how do we go faster? We hit the hairy ball power up. And that is exactly what we did. So we come out of the second gravel sector. We're something like 30 minutes into the race. Again, probably top 100. I see a small group right up the road. I gotta get to them because we're on road now and it's pretty flat-ish. I mean, there's a couple little risers, but for the most part, if you're in a group, you are absolutely gonna be flying. So I liquidate quite a few matches to try to bridge up to this group and to stay in there with them, and hopefully I can get to the real technical section, the real first major gravel section. And I do, and I make it with these guys. Again, Brian McCall, like I just talked about, guy was motoring. He was really telling everyone to go hard. Was just being like a great like road captain, if you will. And so then I got to recover a little bit, eat a little bit, and we're just about to head into now the third gravel sector, which in years past, this is where the race started. This is where you came in with 1,000 people into this one road, all jamming into this one single track. So much better this year. Absolutely way better the course was. Now this is my third BWR, and each time I have done this, I pre-rode this part of the course. So I'm familiar with this part of the course, I'm feeling good. You know, I'm with my people, the Weekend Warriors, the World Tour pros are up the road, so I'm feeling confident. But then I start realizing that this guy in front of me, he's got the calves of a Greek god. It's unbelievable Calfosaurus here.
Don't flirt with him.
I'm not going to... Fucking hell, eh?
Freaking Calfosaurus, right? I mean, the guy's, I've never even seen anything like that before. So we hit the first main gravel section. I'm feeling very confident. I've ridden this several times before. The Cadex wheels being ultra stiff and ultra light, that's great. But the ones that I'm running, the 36s, actually are super wide. And so it pulled my IRC tires, which were 32s, out to 34.5. Which is everything I've wanted. But see, IRC, they make a 32 and then a 33 and then they jump to a 36. And the Ultimate, another guy here having a problem, the Ultimate only fits 35s. And so I want a 34, but IRC doesn't make them. Anyway, this guy, Tokyo Drift. Just on the top tube, dude, like freaking drifting in there. Wildly impressive. But so a lot of these guys, I noticed that they all stayed almost in the draft. And I didn't feel comfortable doing that. I want to see where I'm going. I want to see what I'm running over. And that's one thing that, like, okay, yeah, maybe it's taking more energy because I'm just slightly off the wheel sometimes, but haven't flatted ever in any gravel race, ever. 2 unbounds, 3 BWRs, every impossible route. Okay, so I like to look where I'm going, and so that when I see something I'm gonna run over, or it's like, oh bro, this is gonna smash my bike, I kind of get light. I sort of, I don't want to say like bunny hop, but you're never on the saddle. Okay, that's one way to flat for sure. Like 100%, just sit on the saddle and have all your weight on the saddle, and then hit a rock, bro. You're gonna slice your tire for sure. Doesn't matter what tire you have. And so what I do is I sort of just like I said, you kind of lift the bike, but you're not jumping. You're just, all of your weight is sort of above the bike. And so when you run over stuff, you don't have all this weight pushing into the tires. So, you know, like, yeah, I'm a little bit off the wheels sometimes, but I don't have a mechanical. I don't have a DNF. I don't have an issue. I know it's early on, but the power's looking good. I came into this really pretty fit. I put in a solid training program before this, and I actually added a comma to my power. At 5 seconds, 1,009 watts. A comma for me in my power, that's unbelievable. So we're rolling, and I'm feeling good. We're hitting down some of these technical sections, and like I said, you know, you can fly down these things, like this Cal Poly guy, but a lot of people ended up having flats. I mean, I don't know if you can see how jagged the rocks are, but it takes a lot of skill to pick your line and not to just run something straight over, right? Got an email, ruined the video. Anyways, fun, so much fun. We are flying through this section, and look, I pre-rode this with Sam the day before, and there was a couple little sections that I'm so glad that I pre-rode, especially this really technical section that you're gonna see. Dude, what did I hit? That was not good.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
God damn it. Sorry. Sorry.
Now that was a whole new section to the course, and I loved it. It really took some technical skill to maintain your uprightness, that you weren't slipping. There was that one section, I slipped a wheel, right? And then you dab, and then it's so hard because it's like 12%, 15%, so it's so hard to get back going. But it was so much fun flying down this section. I had actually tried to source a dropper seat post for this setup, which I feel like would have been perfect. I was gonna get one through Crank Brothers, but they didn't have one of the cables, or I couldn't find the parts. But the next year I do this, I will for sure have a dropper post on this. Bro, EF Education guy flew past me, and I thought I was strong. I was like, bro, I'm riding so strong, I'm so great. I'm like self high-fiving myself, and then this guy just, bro, Now we're heading into the first rest stop where people actually started to stop. I think we've gone through 2 rest stops at this point. At one of them, I did have a bottle hand up. I'm looking for bottle hand ups, and oh my goodness, do I see Bijou. Bijou, the holy man himself, the savior of food and cooking.
Yeah.
Boom. I could not believe he was there. I was so happy. I just like his face. I like Bijou so very much. So anyways, now we're on to the really hard road section. So we've gotten through most of the technical gravel stuff on the way out, because it's basically just like you go out and back, sort of, right? So all the gravel stuff that we had just done in the beginning, we're gonna do that on the way back. But this road climb is absolutely brutal. One, it's super steep. You've been full gas the whole time. I take a pull only because photographer, right? So Instagram clout. And then what you do is you take a left. The Wafer goes right, the Waffle goes left. And then this part, it's just this like infinite road climb forever. And it's hard. I mean, everyone's, I would say, pretty much like at threshold. Like no one's attacking, but no one's going easy. And everyone is drilling it. I'm hoping I can stay on this group as long as I can. At this point, I'm feeling pretty good. At this point, I feel like I can hold this pace all the way to the finish.
Oh, we got a solid little group here. We're probably top 50, top 60, something like that. And we've got 82 miles to go. We've been racing for 3 hours, like just pretty much full tilt. We got the Cal Poly boys on the front crushing. It's good times, man.
Now we roll through the rest stop that pretty much everyone stopped at. I had to stop. I had to refill bottles. We're on to the 6th sector, or we're coming out of the 6th sector. This part got pretty technical, kind of sandy, but you can see how many people there are, right? Like this rest stop sort of bunched everyone up. So I sort of went from top 100 to around top 60 because some people stopped, you know, to fill up their bottles. Some people caught back on. The group really came together at this one. Look how sandy this is, right? Everyone's like freaking out, doesn't know what to do, running, getting sand in your shoes. It's all good. I'm seeing a good chance that I can place well, but man, the group was just too spicy for me. And I really tried to learn from past experiences where like, okay, right now I could dig super deep, but I might crack. And I know that there's a big climb coming up. So I'm going to actually relax a little bit. I'm going to fall back to, you know, to an easier group, and hopefully I'll have a second wind and I'll come back through. Now this Black Canyon, the washboard was insane. But let's just regroup. Let's recover, and then we'll attack again. Now, I did get a super second wind. And this Black Canyon climb, I don't know what they called it, but it's a new climb for the courses. No one's done this one before. And technical, steep, punchy climbs are just, that's my jam. I really like it. Now, maybe not for the front of the group. Maybe there's guys at the front that are doing 1,000 billion watts. Okay, that's not where I belong. But here, I mean, I've actually now caught back a ton of those guys that I dropped off of. And that's what's so wild about most of these gravel races is that, you know, you could think that your race is over, and if you just stay within yourself and you hydrate and you focus and you just keep pedaling, you can actually completely come back to a group that you had no business being in later on in the race. So, man, I'm feeling so good about myself because I had to let these guys go. I was like, they're too spicy, you know, they are not mild salsa. I'm gonna just hang back. And now when it got to this real steep climb where my skill sets are gonna shine, your boy made it up. I started coming through the pack. And then we get to the backside, and boy, this was fun. Now, I make it back onto this group, and this guy right here, gosh, I wish I remembered his name, and I don't remember his name right now, but he was so nice, and he's like cheering me on, like, yeah, dude, you came back. And what's wild about him is that he was dangling like several times, and then he would go forward, and he would do really well, and it was just, it was really cool to ride with him.
I am really having a second wind, I'll tell you. We're on a pretty massive climb right now. So, time to dig deep. 57 miles to go. You. So I just looked down and my front skewer is like hanging out. So very dangerous. So I borrowed a multi-tool from this legend back here, and I'm gonna try to tighten it while riding. Let's see how that goes, huh? There we go. There we go. There we go. I lost my hand! I lost my bride! Yeah! You. Thank you. Brutal, dude. We're hitting this super steep road climb. My legs are just on the verge of complete cramp city. Like every pedal stroke, it's like about to send me off the edge. Like I am just on, like my muscles are just like this the whole time.
I've actually never cramped ever before. So it was very strange, the feeling of cramping and what that was like. I'm not sure why. So we go downhill for a little bit. We hit some gravel again. We go over a bridge. That's cool. We start pedaling a little bit hard on the way back. We do a little hike bike over that rock section. This is the part that we came out on, so we're doubling back, and we are headed to the final climb, Double Peak, where it gets real brutal.
Last climb. Last climb. There you go. Last climb.
Oh, you can have the blue! Let's go! You got everything you need right here! Very cool! Oh, you, brother! You want a little bit of both? Yes! Come on! I knew they would be a good mid-pack ride! Let's go, baby! Yeah, blueberries? Blueberries, too! Yeah, buddy! That mustache? It looks Come on, Tyler! It looks freaking sick! Tell you what.
There we go.
Yeah. Is this the pace? Are we good?
Good.
All right.
What phenomenal humans, right? This guy right here had messaged me earlier and he said what he was going to be on Double Peak. What did I want? And I said, bro, you know what would be awesome? Grapes. There he was with grapes. Fantastic humans all around. This little section right here is brutal. And actually what's funny is that they were taking pictures and bro, I flexed. I did tried to do like a bicep flex. My whole upper body seized into a cramp that I've never experienced before. I'm still sore from this upper body cramp because I tried flexing for a picture. I'm so stupid. So this is the last gravel section. I'm feeling really good. I don't know what position I am in, but I believe that I'm actually further up than I am. I feel like I might be top 30, which wasn't totally the case. Final little kicker.
Ew. Fuck yeah.
Then, I mean, I'm like a mile from the finish. And I'm about to catch a guy, and then a guy catches me, and then there's like 3 guys heads up racing, you know, and look, it's total time. Okay, so my placing doesn't really matter. It's my total time for today combined with my total time tomorrow that's going to give me my overall placing. But I dug deep, dude. I believe going into the final climb, I was in a group that was between 39th, maybe 35th, and like 55, somewhere around there. So we get close to the finish. I'm kind of in no man's land. Great vibe.
Wilson, second place, Flavia Oliveira. That is Tyler Pierce coming through, also known as the Vegan Cyclist. He has 100,000 YouTube followers.
200,000, thanks.
I was hoping to do a little bit better, but again, it's total time, so right at pretty much 8 hours for the event. I got 52nd, lots of hitters, but dude, there's no time to rest because I have a film premiere, so I had to skedaddle.
Very ambitious.
Let's go to the premiere.
And so I just kept reciting to myself, I will finish. I will finish. I will finish.
Day 2 started off so rough. Now, I woke up to an 8% recovery and a 70 resting heart rate. That's the worst resting heart rate that I've ever seen in my entire life, and I've been using Whoop since 2018. So I know, objectively, I'm smoked. And so most people, after one Belgian Waffle Ride, okay, very intense, very difficult, you are waxed for like a couple days. It takes you a while to come out of that. Now, if I had gone home and I rested and I ate and I just chilled, everything was cool, maybe that would be different. But the thing is that I had to literally find an Uber, jam back to my Airbnb, finish the edit. I still had not finalized the export for the premiere that was in a couple hours, okay? So I'm racing BWR the day before this thinking, dude, what happens if something goes wrong and the export doesn't work? Okay, so stress to the max. Stress of getting the film done to the max. The fact that I have to premiere this in front of all the sponsors, and if something goes wrong, it's my fault, right? Everything comes down to me. So I'm like, I don't want to do this. I want to run and hide. I talk to my brain, do I have to do this? Do I have to?
And you have to do it. You have to.
And internally, there's 2 people inside. And I've talked about this several times. And through the impossible routes, I've really gotten comfortable with like negotiating with myself. And so look, there's so many excuses that I have, just tons and tons and tons with the impossible route film edit. The fact that I've done 6 of these in essentially a year time span. I know one was in 2020, we did 4 in 21, and then this West Texas in 2022. But anyways, look, it's a lot of stress. And so like bike racing becomes sort of a second hand thing. Like I'm getting blown by, for one, just people passing me left and right. I come over this little hit and then all of a sudden everyone's there. I'm like, whoa, how did I teleported, bro? And so then I'm trying to catch on to this group. I'd love to get on this group before we, you know, hit some of the real gnarly sections. And look, it's deja vu. Literally almost to the T, everything is exactly the same. But I'm pretty far back, to be honest. I think I'm, I don't know, top 60, 50, something like that. Feeling way more comfortable with the bike handling. We come to this same exact spot, dude, where I was trying to bridge before, and then I ask my legs for everything.
Okay, so you're doing the doubleheader as well?
Yep.
Tell me about that amazing Whoop score you got.
Dude, it was 1%. It's like the lowest of the low. Like my Whoop basically just gave me a big thumbs down when I woke up today.
Yeah, you shouldn't be riding. You don't do this.
Yeah.
What are you sitting overall though?
I think I'm 4th, but I'm pretty sure like there's at least 5 guys in the front that
Yeah. Nice.
I don't know.
Now, there's not a whole lot of story to tell you on this one, right? It's day 2. There's a lot of fresh guys that this is all they're doing. This was their A goal. They did not race the day before. There's a lot of juniors just shredding the front. The overall GC, look, Skidsville, dude, the Let's Get It guy, he had actually gotten like heat stroke the day before, and then he didn't plan on doing the doubleheader, but that was what was really cool actually, is that because it was a doubleheader, you could flat or have a mechanical or an issue on Saturday, and you could sort of get some redemption on Sunday. I felt way less anxiety knowing that there was 2 days. So I really liked the format of 2 days. But again, I don't know who am I racing against? Like, I don't know who's in the GC or who I should be racing against or whatever, but it really honestly doesn't matter at this point. I'm just barely hanging on. The legs are warming up as we go. But man, I keep seeing a lot of, like, there's just people everywhere. And I'm hoping that I'm going to have some time to sort of come into the fitness, come into the body, and perform better at the end. And I don't want to keep talking about this film premiere, but the West Texas project and all of the Impossible Route projects, I take so very, very seriously, and I pour my heart and soul into it. And so, you know, that was just, again, this big, huge, like, also then relief that it was done, it was aired, like, people were stoked on it. And so I started to get a little bit happier, to be honest.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
So starting to like shake out the cobwebs out of the mind a little bit and enjoy the ride. It's like great weather. You know, I'm not feeling super great, but who cares? And so then we start doubling back on the rest of the group. And dude, the amount of love that I was getting from people on the way back.
Good job. Good job.
Then this triathlete passes us and he's a monster. Just an absolute monster. Doesn't even flick his elbow. Doesn't care if we're on his wheel. And this is the wheel to be on. But I don't really want to go this hard. And so then I see Jeremiah and I don't know. Just seeing his face made me like think, let's go for it.
This guy is an absolute monster, dude. We are just getting a free ride. I mean, this guy's not even flicking his elbow or nothing. He's just towing us home. You're a legend, Mr. All in Black. Legend.
The dude was so crazy, just motoring. And I mean, we're not going easy, right? I'm like 300 watts in his draft. There's a huge crew, and he bridged us maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes to another group ahead of us. Unfortunately, he bridged us straight into the final huge climb, and then he got spit out the back. And I felt so bad. I was like, I hope I can help you. I can return the favor. But the guy was, I think, 200 pounds, and so climbing wasn't his thing. But dude, what a savior, right? And so I've now been bridged up to this maybe second group on the road, and they were spicy. They were putting it down, but I've pretty much been doing nothing all day, right? And so then I kind of started to feel myself again, feel the legs, feel spunky. And right here, dude, 700 watts, right? At the end of 2 BWRs, okay? Now we're hitting double peak, super long climb. David Sweet right here in the Elio kit, he got 4th overall in the doubleheader, did really well on Saturday actually. And so now it's just about trying to stay with this group as much as I can. And we were kind of vibing with it, man. We were feeling pretty good.
Almost there, man. Almost there.
Now, this guy was racing me hard, and I love hard racing, okay? He did not want me to beat him. He was attacking me every chance he could get, and so it was really fun coming into the finish because we were straight up racing. He's like attacking. He attacked me like 4 times. And so that was really cool. I was trying to stay with him. I don't know what position we're actually racing for, to be honest. I feel like since we bridged up, maybe we're top 10, you know, but I don't know. Like I could be top 50. I have no idea. The guy, I would catch him in the dirt. He would sprint away from me on the pavement. We had came into the final sprint, and he had said, "Hey, I saw on Strava you're working on your sprint. You better be ready to test it out." And boy, when he said that, I wanted to out sprint him so bad. But you know, dude, I'm feeling like a bag of turds. And so right here, I should have like hopped the curb and done something cool and like pushed him into the barriers, but you know, whatever. I was on his wheel. I gave it everything I had. We sprinted to the line, and actually I got 15th overall in the Wafer. So that's what we finished in. I got 15th overall, 3rd in my age category, and bro, I got 9th overall in the doubleheader. Top 10 for your boy.
Yeah, that's fun. Well, it took me a really long time for the legs to come around, and I was definitely having a pity party for 80% of the ride. But then that monster in all black bridged us to the group. I was able to get some fuel in, dump a bunch of ketones in, and then, I mean, bro, I was riding better than I have all weekend at the final like 5 miles. So, so 3rd age group for today. I still don't know what I got yesterday, but the doubleheader, which was my goal, top 10 overall, 9th. Dude, I'm really happy with that. 9th overall at the BWR doubleheader, 2 BWRs back to back.
Appreciate you watching. I know this took a really long time to get out and actually get produced. I've been working on Unbound training, Unbound XL. That is a big thing that I've been focusing on. I also have Best of Both in Oregon. That event's coming up. I'm really excited about that, where you have 3 bikes actually. So anyways, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for all the support. And until the next video, as always, Vegan Cyclist. You.